All right. I'm Kelly. I'm the Feline Leukemia Program Coordinator at APA. And I kind of wanted to just dive into the basics first before going over the foster program. So there's a lot of, misunderstanding around feline leukemia. So feline leukemia, what we call FeLV, and we call our feline leukemia positive cats Felves affectionately. It is a virus, not a cancer. And it's basically just going to impact a cat's immune system. And I like to compare it to humans with a compromised immune system, just because, you're not going to see anything different day to day with these cats. Just the same way that you wouldn't see anything different day to day with a human who has a compromised immune system. But with both, they are going to be more susceptible to illness. And then when they get ill, they do get ill quicker. So we just
Kelly, I'm going to ask really fast. I
Sure.
hear folks say things like, oh, FeLV's like kitty AIDS, and that's not really the case. Is that accurate?
Right. So, I mean, I think that a lot of times people are confusing FeLV with FIV. And that's kind of the one that they're referring to. And they say kitty AIDS a lot of the time, although I've heard it with FeLV as well. But it really isn't. These are just wonderful cats that are, if you come and meet them or you see them on video, they're the same as any other cat. They've just got, a weaker immune system. So FeLV in and of itself is not like a death sentence. It's not scary. It's just wonderful cats that just have a weakened immune system. So they just require a little bit extra when they do get ill, and just kind of staying on top of it. So in terms of APA's FeLV program, we were adopting out FeLVs from the beginning. However, when we first launched a FeLV program, which was in 2016 during the year, we drastically increased the amount of cats that we were able to help. And just currently our FeLV program, we just stay up to date on all the latest research and care and kind of modify and adjust our protocols and evolve them just to stay in alignment with the research that's currently happening here. Okay, so just kind of some stats on our program. As I mentioned, we did launch in 2016. 2017 was the first full year, so I went ahead and used those statistics as kind of our introductory. But yeah, prior to starting the program, we were adopting out about 25 FeLV cats per year. And then in our first year of having a FeLV program, our stats increased to 259 intakes, and we had 100 adoptions in 2017. And then last year, for our year to date, for 2021, we did take in 470. So we had 584 adoptions. So we were actually adopting out more cats than we were taking in. And currently we do have 124 FeLVs in foster.
Yeah, and Kelly, before we switch to the next slide, I think it's important to note that we, in 2017, we started a study. So we actively went out and looked for FeLV cats. We were not getting random 300 FeLV positive cats into APA. We are pulling them from other programs that are otherwise euthanizing. So just wanted to call that out. You shouldn't be getting 300-400 FeLV positive cats into your program.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were seeking them out then. And, as we've grown, they are now seeking us out. All right, so moving on to just in terms of going ahead and starting and developing a foster program. So we are mostly foster based. I can say that 90% of our cats are in foster. And so that's been a big contributor to our success with about 10% on site. And so in terms of recruiting FeLV volunteers, so if you're starting a program and you're kind of wondering where to start in terms of recruitment, the biggest thing is just information, giving out the information so it doesn't, have that effect of sounding scary. So FeLV cats, as I mentioned before, same day-to-day lives. We go over the fact that all cats deserve love, and that they deserve that love for however long they do have with us. So it's good to go ahead and reach out to your current fosters and let them know FeLVs can be fostered with other species, not just FeLV or with other species. They just cannot be fostered with FeLV negative cats. So dogs are great, birds, any other animals that they may have is fine, and say that they are fostering a cat that is FeLV negative. Well, they can get that cat adopted and then go ahead and foster out a FeLV. And then just immediately after getting that cat adopted, if they decide they want to go back, they can foster a FeLV negative cat. There's no extensive cleaning or anything needed between just the normal cleaning you would do between cats. So they can do both. So social media marketing is very important. We do Facebook posts, Facebook lives, where we just kind of talk about FeLV and the cats we have. We show them off on Instagram, TikTok, and we stress life saving. So that's a big part of this, is just letting people know that you are literally saving this cat's life. They would be euthanized from another shelter, and people really like to feel like they are saving lives. And then a big part of it, though, we'll go over in the next slide, is just our foster pleas. And this right here, this shows one of our most famous, I would say, foster pleas that was done by the person who is actually in this position before me. And so we're it's kind of, we're taking a humorous take on it. This was like a Jeopardy plea that when this event occurred, he became the world record holder for enduring the largest mass rejection in a 24-hour period. It just goes over, this is 2,706 people ghosting his FeLV foster plea for last night. So it's kind of, you know, having a good time with it and poking fun at it, and, you know, trying to entice people to, hey, look at this cute cat. Let's like foster this cat. But when you take a humorous approach to it, people tend to be more apt to write in, you know, and read the pleas every night. And so we're trying to send them out 1 to 2 times per day, at least one with all of our cats. And then maybe an extra one with this cat needs something special. We're trying to make them clever and captivating, highlighting their personality. And then at the end of them, we do attach information sheets. As I mentioned, information, you can never give out too much information. So an information sheet about FeLV, what it's like to foster a FeLV, those kind of things, and stressing the facts versus myths. And stressing the urgency, like we mentioned. This cat could be euthanized if you don't foster them, and letting the person be the hero.
Before I flip to the next slide, Bagel Bites did find a foster after Oliver called out everybody for not responding to his email. So this one worked.
All right. And so then, you know, you've gotten your fosters here, then it's important to keep your fosters. So we want to retain them by just making sure we are adding extra support. I try to support the people fostering FeLVs, you know, even more than, you know, obviously support all of our fosters, but even greater than, so that they really feel like they're getting, you know, everything that they need. So we're sending them welcome emails and checking in. Hey, how's this cat doing? If they write to us, we're making sure that we're responding to them quickly. We try to do same day for any kind of foster requests, and we're treating them like gold. We act as their mentors. So we're going to answer any questions that they may have. If they have behavioral questions, we're trying to help with that as soon as possible. And then any kind of medical questions, we are offering clinic support so that they have access to emergency care or routine care within 24 hours. We do recognize that some people that may be trying to start a foster program don't actually have a clinic. So that's something we'd still be happy to discuss. If you are wanting assistance with that, you can just email the FeLV at austinpetsalive.org. For other ways you can medically support or support in general your fosters. And then we just create email templates for routine emails. There's very common things that fosters ask, and that way we're able to address our fosters quicker and more of them. All right, so we are going to offer foster sitting. A lot of times FeLV fosters, they may have the foster cat for a little bit longer. So we want to incentivize that by, hey, if you need to go out of town, we're going to go ahead and set them up with a sitting gig for that. We're building relationships with these people, so we know these people on a first name basis. We know who is going to foster the higher medical needs cats, and we're going to even contact those people directly. Once you've nurtured those relationships, you can contact the person directly and say, hey, I've got this cat that needs X, Y, and Z. Can you foster them? And people are more likely to accept when you're asking them one-on-one like that. And then Facebook groups, you know, FeLV fosters as a group, so that they can kind of talk to each other and go over anything that they're currently experiencing. And then we also have a foster sharing shed, and this is just across the board in our foster program, but this is wonderful because especially for first-time fosters, you know, you're arranging for them to pick up the cat, but hey, on site, we also have this shed. This is where it's located. This is the code, and they have access to those donations, which makes it easier for fosters to actually foster. And then the last thing I would note in terms of support is definitely it's important to utilize your volunteers here. So many of these things your volunteers can help with, and most of your program support can be volunteer based.
Kelly, can you talk a little bit more about the sharing shed? I think we mentioned it elsewhere in the presentation, but a lot of organizations are still trying to figure out how do we track where things are going, and how do we navigate just getting supplies to people?
So we have all of our donations, and just a lot of the time the donations are things that we can't necessarily use on site. Like we're using hard carriers just for sanitation, and a lot of people are donating soft carriers, or they're donating cat trees or toys. And so we're giving access essentially to the things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to use on site, but a foster could use and would appreciate. So we're taking those and we're putting them into the shed that's in our main parking lot, and giving them access by giving them the code to that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
We're not tracking what goes in and out. It's a free for all of whatever extra things we don't need. And when fosters are done with other stuff, they'll sanitize and throw stuff back in there as well.
It kind of works like those little libraries you see where people give books. And even with giving people that unlimited access and giving them the code, we haven't ever been in a situation where we haven't had enough. We've always got, you know, more than enough to help the fosters, and which is kind of a system of, you know, take what you need. Okay. And so then the last aspect, which kind of goes hand in hand with support, is just retaining them. So we're going to be thanking them loud and often. So, I mean, every single email where they even ask a question, I'm answering that question. And thank you so much for fostering. We so greatly appreciate this. And especially if they do anything that goes above and beyond, just thank you. And then on the kind of the other end of the spectrum, we do know that with FeLV cats, sometimes, you know, they are going to pass in care. And so we're making a point that every single time we're going to reach out and offer our condolences and how can we support you through this period of time, because it's important that they know how much we do care about them. And that's one of the things that'll keep them coming back, is that, you know, what I'm doing makes a difference. And, you know, people care about what I'm doing. And then kind of, as I said before, developing those relationships. And then a big aspect of is once you have FeLV fosters, they get excited about what they're doing in the life-saving work. And then you can encourage them to advocate for it too. So they're kind of doing that education for you and helping you get in more fosters. And really the big thing here is we're making it easy. They're going to keep coming back if they feel appreciated, they feel like what they're doing good work, and it's easy to do. So we want them to, there really to not be any barriers to their fostering. So we're going to keep it easy. And then we keep track of our fosters and we follow up if some time has passed. And having a system for recognizing and appreciating fosters is big. Just in general, we try to have lots of systems and set up spreadsheets. So we're really tracking everything that's happening, and we can make a point to know all of our fosters and what they're doing.
All right, I think that's your last slide, right, Kelly?
Yep.
All right, now we're gonna talk about fungus with Anita.